Yeah, this is Paul.
Yeah.
I was reading this dictionary.
Yeah.
They have what's called genetic code,
Yes.
the biochemical basis of heredity that specifies amino acid sequence in the synthesis of what's that word? Synthesis of proteins, on which heredity is based. Yeah. Then they have what's known as genetic, of or pertaining to the origin or development of something of or relating to genetics.
Yes.
hmm genetics is something where you've really got to be very careful with it. The genetic code. Now, let's say I know quite a bit about genetics. There are all kinds of studies about the genetics of different types of human beings. They've studied the hereditary characteristics of genetics. Yeah. Let's say you're a special master chief justice of the Special Claims Court of the United States of America. If I were just to eat your hair and I was on the genetic supercomputer, I called them DNA suckers because they suck the DNA of those that are citizens. Yes. I could control the decision making of a judge or justice. This morning I thought that maybe the frog was using a blood, a type of genetics from actual frogs, because a lot of the food that has been given to me is actually poisonous. To cause frog saliva means that there is genetics involved in everything. Now, a lot of those that are in the super top secret game of how are we going to control the population. Let's say you live in a trailer park. You know that you're white supremacist programmed. You know there's a secret underground place somewhere underneath the trailer park. And every month, as you were growing up, going through high school, your parents ended up buying lottery tickets. Yes, they did. And you're like, why don't we ever have any money? Well, they were on food stamps, and you were a very attractive white supremacist woman. Well, it turns out that they got involved in a little lizarding, and the problem was, did they amp the trailer park? Did they use electricity, or did they ground the trailer park? Let me give you an example. Let's say you put on my feet the feet of somebody else. Is it on my feet because of electricity, or is it on my feet because of the grounding of the programming? Oh. Now, let's say it's an animal, a frog. Frogs are on the ground. Yes, they are. Now, if you've ever electrified a frog before, they probably hop around really good. But what if you grounded a frog so that it was not receptive to electricity? Oh. Seemed like somebody was grounding the population so they would not be amped. Ooch. And then somebody was electrifying the population so that they would be amped. Now let's look at the genetics of those involved in the food supply. You're controlling a trailer park of very attractive, large-breasted, white supremacist women. But you don't want them on the lizard electricity system. And it's too far away from the ocean to use sonar. So how do you ground certain citizens so they're not involved, their physical nervous system can't be amped? Now, you could continuously remove the electricity out of their bodies. Yes. But that's not really grounding, is it? It's kind of like if I control the electricity of the trailer park, I want to electrocute those I want to control, but I myself don't want to be electrocuted. Yes! Yes! Now, when you look at the genetics of the frog, it could be that those in the porn industry that pay for the making of adult movies, they don't want to be electrified themselves. They want to be grounded. They don't want their nose taken. They want to actually smell what's going on in the movie. They don't want to be affected by what they've manufactured and used to control the actors and actresses. So they themselves monitor their genetics so as to not be responsive. Yes, so they can't be affected by the genetic modified foods that they have been feeding to those in the adult movie industry. Now, I'm going to need to know the genetics of all of those in that industry. Pooch. And if possible, the genetics of every Playboy bunny. Caw. Then I'm going to want to know the genetics of every employee of the Special Claims Court of the United States federal government. Give me the genetic supercomputer that knows.